Hey, my name's Sebastian, and I'm going to be studying architecture at UCL this September. So I thought I'd share my top 3 tips on how I got in. And shout out to the group chat as well for giving me some ideas. Tip number 1 is to do your research. Is architecture something you know you want to do? Do you think that architecture is a career that you want to pursue? And are you willing to put in the 7 years to become a qualified architect? And if you do decide that architecture is for you, you need to decide on what kind of teaching style that you want, because that will determine what uni you apply to. For example, when I was researching what unis I wanted to go to, I found that the Bartlett took a much more creative and artistic approach towards architecture, as opposed to Bath that takes a much more technical approach, more focused around maths. So make sure that you do some proper research into the universities you're applying to, because you don't want to turn up on the first day of uni and realise this isn't for me. Tip number 2 is to start working on your portfolio early. Your portfolio is a collection of your own work that showcases your creativity, your ability to develop a project, and your critical thinking. However, not everything in your portfolio needs to be architecture related. For example, I myself put in some of my GCSE artwork into the portfolio, which the interviewers really liked. You should also showcase your ability to use different mediums and different techniques in your artwork. Starting your portfolio early not only means that you have more time to actually work on it, meaning it's probably going to turn out better. But depending on the universities that you're applying to, you may need to make multiple versions of a portfolio just to fit the guidelines of the different unis. So make sure you give yourself enough time to finish these. I myself left my portfolio till last minute and had to pull 2 all-nighters just to get it done, which might be good practice for uni, but isn't something that you want to do. So start now. It's also very important that you're able to explain the processes and thinking behind each part of your portfolio. So practice reflecting on your own work. Think about what you would improve or what you would change and what you would do different next time. This is especially important if you're applying to UCL or Cambridge, where there's an interview and application process. And in this interview, you will definitely be asked to present your work. So practice talking through it and presenting it. Starting your portfolio early also gives you more time after to revise for your exams, so you can get into the uni that you want. So yeah, start it now. Tip number 3 is to prepare for your interview. Practice going through each and every part of your portfolio just in case you're asked about it. To help you remember what you want to say for each piece of work, you can use flashcards or keywords rather than writing down a whole paragraph and trying to memorize it, because that won't work. Practice going through your portfolio with other people. This is something that I didn't do for my Cambridge interview, and I really regret it. However, for my UCL interview, I talked through my portfolio with my friends, my family, and even some of my teachers, and I found it very helpful. But the most important part isn't the questions. What's most important is actually just practicing speaking and explaining your thinking clearly and coherently. You should also practice answering possible questions. Although different unis and different interviewers will probably ask you different questions, there are some questions that are very common, so you should practice for these. For example, why you chose this uni, why you chose architecture, and who your favourite architect is. I applied to both the master's and the bachelor's course at UCL, so I was asked why I chose to apply to both, and asked me which one I would prefer and why. So if you do apply to both, make sure you're prepared for that question. Other people that I spoke to who also did the UCL interview got asked questions like, what's your favourite medium, or what would you do if you don't get this offer? Which I think is a very tough question, but to be honest, there's no way you can really prepare for every question they're going to throw at you. So my tip would just be to practice talking and answering as many questions as possible. I have to say that practicing for questions is much more possible for the UCL interview than the Cambridge one. I found the UCL interview to be much more conversational and casual compared to the Cambridge one, which was very formal. When I was preparing for my UCL interview, I did a lot of research, and something that I kept hearing was that the purpose of the Cambridge interview was for them to test your critical thinking and how you react to different questions. So although it's very difficult to practice for the questions themselves for the Cambridge interview, you can practice explaining your thinking out loud where there isn't necessarily a correct answer, but you need to explain your thinking and how you got to your response. So yeah, those are my 3 tips. I hope you found it useful, and make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see my future videos. Thank you for watching.